So what's going on YouTube? WK Dad here. Talk some more about, yesterday we talked about top decks of the format. Let's talk about some decks that are, are more or less like tier 1.5, not so much tier 1. Looking at Karkuris. I believe they have a power to be tier 1, but I don't know, people aren't piloting them correctly or not getting enough play, so that's not why they're just seeing tier 1 status. Man. Anti-meta, and I'm talking about like TG Drain, TG Stun, whatever, just that kind of stuff. The decks you lose to, the decks that when they get their setup, you just can't break it. You don't, like, your main deck isn't suited to handle that. When you're going against Karkuri, instead of going off and exploding on you first turn, they set up a Nat Beast with protection. How do you break that? People say, well, I just summon Tour Guide and make Leviathan and run it over. Okay, you missed the part where I said they first turn Nat Beast with protection. The Tengu plant synchro summon deck, whatever, runs somewhere between 11 to 13 spells. What do? I mean, you open with like a Maxi, an Effect Veiler, maybe a Tengu to their Nat Beast and 3 back row. You got a handful of spells, Tengu, Maxi, and Veiler. What do? Summon your Maxi, or summon your Tengu, hope it doesn't get warning. Set your Tengu, and hope that it doesn't get killed face down. Prevent this effect from going off, or they don't next turn make a Landois on you. If you're, the TG Drain build, they get set up with a Rush Rhino and a Tengu, and it's backed up with Horn of the Phantom Beast and freaking 4 other back rows. Freaking fly out here. It's freaking 50 degrees and there's still flies. I don't get it. It's confusing as hell. I don't, those stuff that you lose to round 1, and then you hope that, game 2, that you hopefully draw into your sideboard so you're not wrecked by that stuff. And I'm the kind of person where I don't draw my sideboard. I know there's a lot of people who don't draw their sideboards. Even though you're going first, you're like looking at your hand, you're like, this does not help me. I didn't draw a good mix of spell and trap removal and it's anti to their anti. So, what do? Do you just hope for the best? Or you can't build your main deck to handle every situation because you end up with a pile of, mess that just doesn't flow together. So I'm just here, thinking, how to handle that. I know that first off, you got to have the mental toughness to deal with that. You lose a dice roll, your opponent summons Rush Rhino, shuffles her hand a little bit, and sets the rest of her hand and says go. I mean, that's almost as bad as summoning a Quarry, then they set the rest of their hand and say go. Or Thunder King, set the rest of their hand and say go. That is so annoying. I mean, I hate people who play that way, but it's just like, I'll use another gaming term, turtling when you're playing, or not turtling, but camping when you're playing Halo or Call of Duty or all those other different games. And there's like a little meme going around saying it's a legitimate strategy. So yeah, I understand they're legitimate strategies. I mean, if the strategy wasn't legitimate, then the game wouldn't set forth the conditions where that would be available. So it's just so annoying. I don't know, it's frustrating. I'm at a loss for words. So